everyone, I'm Adrienne Everheart, your feminine energy dating and relationship coach. Today I'm going to talk about 3 steps you want to take if you find yourself obsessing about a man. You really just cannot stop thinking about him. And I've certainly been there. You lose sleep, you feel like you can't eat, or maybe all you want to do is eat, and your mind just won't stop racing. Today I'm going to share with you exactly how to use feminine energy techniques so that you can stop the obsession and anxious thoughts. So with obsession and obsessing over a man and having really anxious thoughts about him, you really can get stuck in a daze that lasts days, weeks, months, maybe even a year of your life. You can get stuck into this reptilian brain where you're problem solving. And that's a big part of obsession, is that there's actually this really intelligent part of you for your survival that is teaching you how to solve a big problem. Now, a big thing about feminine energy is that I actually get you to be back in your body. One of the things that's happened to you is just over the years, you have learned I have to be tough, I have to be strong, I have to numb up my body and get through this, and I can outthink anything. And that actually disconnects you from your body. That's more getting into your boy energy and your problem solving energy. So if we're going to get you back into your body and back into what you're feeling where you're not numb, you're definitely going to experience a shift where the mind isn't taking over as much. And this is exactly where obsession lies. Now, one of the big mistakes we make with obsessive thought and anxious thinking is that we believe if we actually think about it long enough, we can solve this problem. We can figure out what went wrong or how to avoid it from happening again. And again, this is the reptilian brain. It has had you, surviving for centuries, except now it's with a relationship and it's with a man. Also, sometimes obsession becomes just a way to pacify your loneliness. And it gives you a little bit of solace. It helps soothe you because you really do miss this person. But as long as they're up there in their thoughts and you're thinking about them, it gives you a little bit of it pacifies some of that loneliness you're feeling being separated from them. The downside to all of this is that it will really be a downward spiral into more anxiety and depression. And we want to get you out of that place. It is not going to be attractive to the man or any future man as long as you are in this obsessive place where you're hoping and wishing he will come back, or you're trying to figure out what went wrong, or whatever it may be. So the big step in this is that we're going to boost your attractiveness, getting you back in your feminine energy, getting you to a place where you are attractive to all men. To all men, including the man that you have your mind on so much. So the first thing I want you to do, step 1 to end obsessive and anxious thoughts, is I just want you to accept that your brain is a problem-solving machine and that it's constantly chasing the answer of why or how to avoid something or make it so that this doesn't happen again to you. So whenever those thoughts pop up into your head, such as, why did he leave me? Or what did I do to make this happen? Or your brain might tell you all the wonderful memories you had with this person. So the first step is be aware of what your brain is just kind of throwing at you. Anything, a love song can remind you of a person, a food, a restaurant, your bedroom, all sorts of things will trigger memories of this person. And so you might be doing these every single minute of the day at first, but worry not, it gets easier depending on, how intense the obsession is. So what I want you to do is when you have the thought about that person, first thing is say, oh, there goes my brain again. There goes my brain again. It's just trying to help me survive. It's just trying to help me problem solve. It's helping me figure this out. Or it might be, oh, there goes my brain again, telling me what could make me feel happy right now. It's kind of like when you're trying to quit smoking or give up a bad habit, your brain will go to that as a solution. And that's just your brain doing its job to help you survive and feel happy. So notice what it's doing and just say, oh, there goes my brain again. It's telling me that I miss John and I should just pick up my phone and call him. And it's going to give you suggestions like this. So notice them, and then I want you to just tap your brain, tap your head, and say, thank you for that suggestion. but I'm the adult and I'm in control. That's all you have to do. Tap yourself like, thank you for the suggestion. I appreciate that. I'm the adult. I'm in control. And you are not going to be picking up your cell phone to call that person or drive past their house or go to their job or whatever it may be, or continue to obsess about that person because you know it is not healthy for you. You know it's not helping you. And you're the grown adult of you. You set the rules and the boundaries here, okay? Not your brain. Your brain has got you set on survival. So that's step one. Step two is going to be about really understanding that you have experienced some trauma. Now, trauma is a very tricky thing because the body really holds on to an experience or a memory, and it may be just one traumatic event of one person walking out on you. This may have been how you spent your entire childhood. You may have traumatic events that are building just one on top of another on top of another. And obsessive thinking will really get you into this place of, again, figuring out what has happened to me, what's gone wrong, and how can I fix it. So step two is about really understanding the trauma that you have been through, are going through, or that this triggered in you. So I often talk about the artist, the man that I knew after my first husband and in between meeting my second husband. And this man really just walked into my life, helped me get my husband out of my life, kind of pushing it along, encouraging me. Looking back, I really wouldn't have done that. I also spent a lot of time with him. Instead of taking care of things around my house or in my own life or my personal well-being, I was putting his well-being first. And consequently, I lost my job. I suffered a major health crisis, and I lost a beloved pet of mine. Now, all of those things could have happened anyway, I understand, but again, it was trauma, and I can kind of look back and see how one bad decision just kind of led to another. So when he came over to my house and just said, I don't want to be in a relationship anymore, and walked right out the door and never talked to me again, you can imagine that all of those little mini traumas suddenly compounded on me, and I became fixated on him as the solution to my trauma. So a big thing that you want to do is accept the trauma and begin to process it. A big thing you want to understand with trauma is, what is it you're afraid of? Where is the fear happening now currently? And what does it feel like in your body? So the thing that we want to do with understanding this is you're going to get really real with yourself, because you're going to friends, you're going to people, you're living in this world of your mind with obsessive thinking, and you're really not getting any relief. And people will just kind of hand out advice to you like, oh, you'll get over it in enough time, and after you date enough guys, you'll be okay. And they'll give you this sort of advice, but the truth is that obsession can really continue to re-traumatize yourself the more you revisit anything that happened from the past. So I want you to become aware of what that trauma was in your life. You can find out if it's associated to any other traumas. You know, for example, if you were abandoned by a parent and then you're abandoned by someone you love, it's going to feel very similar. You may have been cheated on multiple times in your life by many different men, and now you're obsessing about, will I get cheated on again? Will this happen again with this person? And so this way, what we're doing, we're getting clarity. A goddess, a feminine energy woman, is very realistic. She's atop on her pedestal. She has a bird's eye view of everything going on around her. She is very much in reality. So this is the second step, is assessing this trauma, understanding that yes, this has been traumatic for me, and I'm stuck in a loop with this thinking. So now that you know what the trauma is and you've identified it, it's very important to make yourself feel safe. And enough safety is anything that grown adult you in your body, not the you that's pushing everything down and obsessing and worrying, but adult you, put some things in place to take care of yourself. A big one for me was making sure I had enough support. I would isolate myself, and the more I would isolate myself, the more pain I would feel. So I had to make sure I had enough support. I was seeking out people, relationships, and experiences that felt good to me. That was a painting class, a dance class. I was exercising more, doing group exercise, something I had never done before. I was seeking out groups and social events I otherwise wouldn't have done. I was also making sure I got enough sleep and enough rest. You may need to re-examine your diet, make sure you're eating well. You're creating a safe world for yourself so that you can heal from this trauma. Step 3, you're going to create a new contract with this person. When my husband and I, before we were married, we had a lot of on again, off again. And I really felt like I would never love anyone as much as him, and it would never work out with anybody else but him. Yet he wasn't there. We were suffering from separation and just distance in the relationship. And so I had to make a new agreement with him. And I really encourage you to journal and write this one out, because you have agreements in place with this person that you are in love with or obsessing about. One of those agreements might be, I will never love anyone again. Or I will never love someone as much as you. Or no one will ever make love to me and make me as happy as you once did. That's an agreement you had with that person. So you're actually going to write out a new agreement. And we're going to talk about what you need. And I want you to end the agreement with that person. So I want you to ask yourself, what is it that you want in this new contract, in this new agreement with this person? What is it that you're looking for in a relationship? So your new contract would sound something like this. Dear John, I am renegotiating our contract. Since this or that is no longer happening, I want to renegotiate this contract because I need this or that in a loving relationship with a man. And this is where you want to get really clear about what it is you need in a relationship. I need regular contact. I need to be able to have a conversation and work out difficult moments. I want to feel good and loved. I want to know that my person lives very near me and we can date each other regularly a couple of times a week. And since we're not having that in this previous contract, I am ending that contract. I'm ending that agreement, and I'm writing myself a new one. Ladies, do this journaling exercise. It will help you so much as far as getting back in touch with what it is you want versus what that man has been giving you. Obsessive thinking is going to make you fixate on what they didn't do and how you can fix that. I get you back in your body. This is what feminine energy is all about. I get you back in your body and connecting to what's important for you. Step 4, I want you to create a new routine. One of the best ways to get out of obsessive and anxious thinking is to get new routines in your life. Now, you might think, oh, this sounds too easy to work, or I don't have time to make a new routine. But it's as simple as driving home from work a different direction, shopping at a different grocery store, or if you go to the grocery store one way, drive a different way and work backwards in the grocery store instead of how you normally shop. You can switch hands that you brush your teeth with, sleep on the other side of your bed, and definitely disrupt your routine, move furniture around in your house. Things that are going to continually feel the same aren't going to allow you room and space to change. So it's really important. You got to change things up, and you got to make new changes in your life. They're going to feel uncomfortable and different, but it's going to disrupt that obsessive thinking. Now, if you don't have time to really set about doing a lot of new routines, just right now, while it's fresh on your mind, I want you to pause this video and write down 3 to 5 things around your house or in your life you've just been wanting to do. Now, don't write down anything too big like, oh, I've always wanted to take that trip to Italy or whatever it may be. Just write down some small things. You maybe have been meaning to frame some photos of some loved ones or your diploma. You may have been wanting to finish reading a book or start a new project. Whatever it is, clean out a closet or really organize a particular drawer in your house. Go ahead and just jot those down and put those somewhere where you can see them. And this week, make sure you do at least one of those. That's going to give you a sense of accomplishment. You're really making progress with your life. And the best part, you're getting out of obsessive thinking that is not attractive and not helping you long term. Step 5. Now, this is my most important step I want to share with you, and that is called your phrases of truth. I want you to have phrases of truth. A few minutes ago, I talked about how feminine energy is in her body. You are aware of what you are feeling. You're also aware you have thoughts, but you're not living up here in your brain, in your boy energy. You're in your body. You're connecting to your body and what you feel and your sensations, and it is very truthful. Your body does not often lie. Do you know your heart can even lie to you? You can actually want something and desire something. It feels like it's in your body, but it's really just sometimes insecurities fueling those desires. But when you're really in your body, you connect with what you feel. You connect to, does this have a greater good? Is this going to be healthy for me long term? You can feel it when you learn how to connect with your body. So that's what phrases of truth do for you, is that they're actually a way to connect that boy energy to that girl energy, because the boy energy is going to be very factual, adult, is all about facts, and that's exactly what we're going to set up for you. So again, this is an exercise where you want to write these down so you can keep them in your pocket and read them a couple of times a day and remind yourself of your phrases of truth. Now, what are your phrases of truth? My phrases of truth sounded something like this. If he really loved me, he'd be here. If he really wanted to have a family with me, he would do exactly that. My man would contact me and reach out to me if he really wanted to fix things. If he truly loved me, he would treat me with love. So now that you have 4 or 5 examples of phrases of truth, I want you to come up with your own. You can use the examples that I've given you or come up with your own. It could be something like, if he really loved me, if he really wanted to build a relationship with me, he would be doing blank. And he would be doing it. He would be taking action. Those are your absolute phrases of truth. What does this do? It gets you out of the obsessive mind of getting into his psychology. His psychology is none of your business. Why he's doing this, why he's wounded, why he's unable to love someone else or move on or introduce you to his kids or whatever his excuses are, it's not your problem. You have your phrases of truth. You know what you need. You know what you want. That makes you very bright, alluring, and attractive because you are not focused on this guy's world. As long as you're focused on his world and in obsessive thought, you're not going to be attractive to him, and you're not going to be attractive to any man out there. And if you do attract men at that phase in your life, they are going to be men that are drawn to you because you're down in the dumps, and you don't want those guys either. Now, a quick mantra I want to leave you with after you complete any of these exercises or just throughout your day, I want you to remind yourself that you love yourself. And I know it might sound really hokey, but if you can look in the mirror and just say to yourself, I love you, I'm healing, and I'm going to get through this. And remind yourself, I am getting through this, I am healing, and I do love you. And remind yourself these wonderful things you feel about yourself. We can really beat ourselves up in relationships and blame ourselves and again get obsessed about the man and what he's doing. But we are returning to a place of self-love where you are the most important person. It has to start with you. In order for trauma, obsessions, and any sort of negativity in your life to be healed, you have to return to loving yourself more than you love that man. You want to return to loving yourself foremost and putting the things that are important in your life, the things that you desire, the things that have purpose in your life, you want to put those first, and that's going to bring you a lot of happiness and ease. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today on how to end obsession and really negative, anxious thinking. I want you to check out some of my other programs, and I also have a free group on Facebook called I Heart Love Academy. Now, I have a best-selling ebook, 500 Ways to Talk to a Man, and I have a wonderful program called the ABCs to Get Him Back, where again, the focus is more on you, but in most cases, the person ends up attracting their man back into their life or the man they're meant to be with. So take a moment and check those out. And as always, I love to hear from you in the comment section. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up or share it with someone who you love and care about that can really get help from the message in this video. Much love, everybody. Mwah. Bye-bye.